Let's steal our formula from our right above. So we'll write it out again. Future value is equal to R 1 plus I to the power of n minus 1 over I. So we want to figure out how many monthly installments or investments of our $200 would have to be paid into account that pays 6% annual interest compounded monthly for the future value to be 100,000. Again, when you get this on an exam, each of the letters, each of the variables in the question would be explained. So we want the future value to be 100,000. This is kind of exciting because you're putting $200 away each month. You want to know how long is this going to take? Am I going to be like 833 years old before I can take out $100,000? What's going to happen? So we're putting in regular investments of $200. The I was the interest rate per compounding period. So at 6%, that'll be 0.06 divided by 12 because it's compounded monthly, minus 1 all over 0.06 divided by 12. And our n is right there. Unlike the questions we've run into so far, not only are we solving for n in exponent, which is yelling or screaming to us, use your log laws, but we have a lot of other, be nice, stuff in this question. So how do we deal with that? Let's see if we can get this thing with the exponent by itself. Use our algebra skills to get that by itself. So first of all, I want to get rid of my fraction. So I'm going to take my 100,000 and I'm going to multiply both sides of this by 0.06 divided by 12. That'll cancel out with this, and multiply this by 0.06 divided by 12 as well. 100,000 times 0.06 divided by 12 is equal to 500. That's a pretty number. So now that we have that value there, sorry. We still have 200 here, 1 plus 0.06 divided by 12 to the n here, minus 1. If we were going to do some more math with this, to get that thing in the green box by itself, we would have to add 1 to both sides, divide by the 200, and now we've got n by itself, or what we had in the green box by itself. The nice thing about getting that power by itself is now you can take the log of both sides, and that n will come out in front because it's the only thing that's the exponent to the entire thing. And we can solve for n by dividing. So we can take out our calculator, get our fraction button working. Log of 501 divided by 200 over log of 1 plus 0.06 divided by 12. 184.1. If we divided that by 12, because that's how much we would have to do per month, 184 divided by 12, it's going to take us about 15 point, well, if I just round, about 15 years, which isn't too bad. If you think about it, you could start right now. If you're making enough money that you could put $200 aside, if you find a bank that's willing to give you 6%, or maybe you find some sort of investment agency that says, yeah, we're averaging around 6% on our investments. You say, I'm going to keep putting in $200 a month. In 15 years, you're going to have $100,000. Now, $200 a month doesn't seem like a lot, but $100,000 in 15 years, it might be kind of nice. So you decide to do this. How much does it actually cost you to get that $100,000? Because you have put in $200 184 times. So if we go to our calculator and say, well, how much did that actually cost me? 200 times 184, it only cost you $37,000 to get $100,000. Wow. Anybody willing to do that trade right now, I would do it. I'll go to the bank, say I've got a great deal. I know someone who's going to trade me $100,000 for $37,000. You should do that over and over and over again, because that's a good investment. Okay, we're going to learn a program that we can use on our calculator. If we get these complicated ones, you still have to show the algebra. So you're going to have to do all of this on your exam. You're going to have to show the algebra and practice it. But if you want to check, how do I know if I'm right? I mean, you could plug things back in, but later on in life, you might want to answer these kind of questions, because investment questions like this actually come up in real life, and we're going to do a bunch of questions using this TVM solver. So the way that you find it on your calculator is you turn your calculator on, you go to apps, and the very first one is finance. It comes on every graphing calculator. Push enter on finance, and then the very first thing that comes up is TVM solver. That stands for time, value, and money. And this chart comes up. So we need to know what each of these things mean. So we're going to write them down at the top of our page. NI, PV, PMT, FV, P per Y, C per Y. Let's see, did I get them all right in the right order? Yes. So I is your interest rate, and here it's not a decimal. PV stands for your present value. FV stands for your future value. PMT, that stands for that payment, that $200 you're putting in every month. P per Y is your payments per year. C per Y is the compounding periods per year. And N is your number of payments. So we just solved in our previous question that, what did we get in the end? It was going to take us 184.1 payments. So we want to see, can we use this TVM solver as a way to check? Okay? Once you've got all of this written down and what they mean, I need you to put a special note at the bottom that we are going to use and I'm going to put money in quotations. You're going to use positive values when you get money and use negative values when you either give or put money away. In other words, you think of having money in your pocket. If you're going to put money into the bank, in this program you'd put that as a negative value. If you're going to take money out of the bank, then you're going to get that later, and you can say, I got that money later and I'm going to put it in my pocket, then it's going to be a positive value. So in our question that we just did, what did we have? We had our interest rate was 6%. We didn't have any money in the bank whatsoever at the start. The present value is the bank account is empty. What are you going to do at the end of every month? You're going to put $200 into that bank account. So that's going to be a negative number since you want that $200 to go away. It's going out of your pocket, put away. You want in the future to have $100,000. Since that you would take out of the bank and put it back in your pocket, you'd have to probably have big pockets. But that's going to be a positive value. We were told in this question you're doing it monthly, so your payments per year are 12. We're also told that the interest rate was compounded monthly, so your compounds per year is 12. And you want to solve for n. So this is what we want to solve for. I can put a 0. There's currently no number in there, or you can just delete that number. How do you solve for something using your graphing calculator here? Can you see that above your enter button, it says entry and solve? So we want to solve for this. So you move your cursor up to the one you want to solve for, and you push alpha and enter, and we get a different number. So this is not good. What did we do wrong? Okay. So we wrote down our original formula wrong. We forgot that there was square brackets there. So that would mean that there would have been a square brackets here. You would still multiply both sides and get 500. That would mean that there would still have been square brackets there. At this time, to get the 200 onto the other side, you would just take your 500 and divide it by 200. I wonder if our life's not going to be as good as it was investing $37,000 and getting $100,000. Might take longer. We're going to find out. That would mean there would still be a -1 here, because this is where those square brackets are. Now, to get that part that we had put a green square around by itself, we would have to add 1 to both sides. 500 divided by 200 is 2.5. Add 1 to both sides, and you will get 3.5 equals 1 plus 0.06 divided by 12 to the n. Take the log of both sides. And we wouldn't have found this mistake. You notice this last time I didn't check by plugging it back into my original formula. If I had checked by plugging it back into my original formula, since I wrote the formula down wrong, it would have still worked because I used the wrong formula. So you got to, it's a very easy mistake to make. Forgot some brackets, changed our answer completely. So now I can bring that n out in front. When I take the log of both sides, and log of 3.5 divided by log of 1.06 divided by 12 should equal n. Whew. Now, nerves are right up there, right? Because there is a chance that we could have made another mistake and they still don't match. So according to this, we want it to match up with 251.17. I'm going to go second, quit to go back to my regular screen here, and I'm going to type in log of 3.5 on the top and log of 1 plus 0.06 divided by 12 on the bottom. 251.17. Now, 251.7 divided by 12 to find out how many years this is going to take you. Before, it was only going to take us 15 years.
Thanks, students. It is Friday, April 28th.
It's about 21 years now.
And here are your links, daily announcements.
And if you take
School Math
252
tickets will be available until Wednesday,
times 200,
$5. After May 3rd, tickets
it ended up costing you $50,000 to make $100,000 rather than 37. I still would make that trade. Someone wants to give me $100,000 and I pay them $50,000. Questions you can do for this one are 3 and 6.